Hi, guys. This is Brian Howard, licensed alcohol, drug, and mental health counselor. Um, I've been getting questions from people about how to deal with anxiety during this time with the coronavirus, or also even questions for people in recovery. How do I, what do I do to maintain some of these this structure that I've set in my life? And and those are really good questions, and definitely applicable right now with the situations that we're going through in society. So I wanted to kind of just run through a couple of things. I think it's really important, no matter whether you're in recovery from substance abuse or you're just maybe a little bit anxious from the situation that's going on. I think it's real important that we take the unknowns and make them into knowns. And what I mean by that is, let's make our days somewhat predictable, not boring, but predictable, because it's been said that the number one fear of mankind is the fear of the unknown. And so right now there's a lot of unknowns, and I think it's important that we try to create some kind of predictability, routine, structure, something like that, so that we will know, we know what our day is going to look like before the day gets here. I tell clients, the next day starts the night before. So why don't we go ahead and plan out a few things? You don't have to regiment your whole day, but plan it out a little bit so that you kind of know what's coming at you. I think that's very important. I also think it's important that we're able to kind of recognize when our body is under some kind of stress, and when we're under a little bit of anxiety, and how to respond to that. Some of the things I recommend for clients are, probably my top two are meditation and journaling. I also mention exercise as a suggestion for people, but if you're talking about meditation, just simple breathing meditations are great. And for people that are not experienced meditators, that's okay. Just teaching them how to stop for just a minute, take a couple of deep breaths, maybe even kind of count down through those breaths. Maybe doing a body scan. That's a really popular technique where you just basically scan through your body. I also think of it as a senses scan. So you scan, what do you hear? What do you see? What do you what are you tasting? What are you smelling? Those kinds of things. The reason for that is it puts you in the present moment, right? Because if you're in this fear state, that's usually in the future, right? So fear is in the future, regret and shame in the past. And so that a lot of times we ping pong between those two. We want to get real present right now. Especially when we're in these kind of anxiety-inducing situations. Another, like I said, journaling is another thing I recommend. And one of the reasons this is helpful is because it takes a formless thing, like a feeling or a thought, an emotion, and puts it into form. We have to give it a word or a sentence. I've even had people kind of draw pictures of things, but it gives it some form. And helps us to process. That's what that is. We're processing at that time, and I find that to be real beneficial as well. Another suggestion might be some kind of community, a feeling of community or belonging. It's a little difficult right now with everything going on, and we're kind of being told to isolate and quarantine. But technology can serve in a positive way right now, because reaching out to people, maybe doing even video calls, it kind of increases the intimacy of a conversation because you can see the person and their environment and that kind of thing. But having some sense of community is important. When you're talking about people that maybe are in recovery from substance abuse, let's say, part of their recovery programs are built upon the idea that they're not alone and that there's a community. Well, you don't have to be in substance abuse recovery to see the benefit of that. So I've been encouraging people to reach out, have conversations, have these video calls. I heard of a suggestion for people to gather, or not gather, but to get together with maybe a loved one, like a grandmother, so an older person in your family, but meet outside. Maybe they sit on the porch and you sit and just kind of in the yard, and you guys get to visit and see each other. But forming some kind of sense of community, I think, is real important right now. Just doing the best that we can with that. But those are some suggestions. I hope those are helpful. They're definitely not the only things that we can do right now, but I think if you're looking for something that would be kind of a broad stroke suggestion, maybe for groups of people, those are a good starting point. If they're in recovery and they're looking to stay engaged, there are meetings, they're online virtual type meetings with AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, it was Narcotics Anonymous. There's groups for codependency. There's groups for family members, things like that, and they're all online. And typically, just a quick Google search, you can find a lot of those things. And I think they're increasing now. It seems to be more and more showing up because of the need. We obviously have a need for that more so than ever right now. So I hope this is helpful. Again, my name is Brian Howard. My email is Brian, Brian, at onelifetreatment.com. That's all spelled out. I'm a counselor. I'm offering video sessions for clients as a way of staying engaged and just kind of doing what I can to meet people where they are right now. So if you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, any way I can help, I'd be glad to do that. I'm located here in the Oklahoma City area, and so feel free to reach out. Okay, thanks.